You fucking brat! Trabagia's killing intent was on full display as he moved first, snapping his fist out past the fleeing referee. Remy simply grinned, his foe falling for his taunts perfectly as the gambler sidestepped through his attack. Head low as he moved towards Ricky. The muscle smirked, trying not to laugh as he watched his opponent rear his fist back. You already tried this, stupid! Before the older fighter could finish his thought, he found his leg suddenly dragged back, body falling forward as Jupardet grabbed him by the calf. With a flourish, Remy threw his hoary fighter into the ground, following up swiftly with a strong kick to the chin. Ugh! Growling in discomfort, cheers washed over the two fighters. Ricardo countered back, his head flinging up into Remy's jaw in less than a second, knocking the young man to the ground. Damn brat! Trabagia suddenly clutched his head in pain, collapsing to his knee as a feeling of vertigo overtook him. His stubble-faced foe wasted no time getting up and making a dash for him. Only moments to act. Ricardo worked through the sickness to immediately stand up, collapsed leg snapping into a high axe kick. His foot hit only air, however, as the gambler ran out to the side of his body. But undeterred, the muscle snapped his leg shut and shot it out to the side, momentum dragging him around enough for his heel to smash into Jupardet. Remy held back a groan of pain before giving a strained chuckle, his arms wrapping around the older fighter's leg once more, using Ricardo's momentum to spin once again, and once again toss the psychotic warrior into the dirt, kicking him onto his back to set up another familiar attack. Recognizing this, the older fighter quickly brought his arms around his chin, planning to snap out at Remy's legs as soon as his foot collided with the guard. It never did. A moment of seemingly complete inaction passed, confusion washing over the still dizzy Ricardo along with a shadow. With his archetype, Trabagia immediately forced his arms above his head, only for them to come crashing into his face, along with the full weight of Remy's body as he stomped on his foe. As he cried out in pain, the older fighter rolled out from beneath his foe, using his ability to kick himself further away. Ricardo glared keenly at his enemy, nose spilling blood while the arena spun around him. His breath was heavy with snarling contempt as he recovered. Kill you. I'll kill you, you fucking brat! Remy simply smiled, breathed deeply, and took his stance, the audience cheering him on with his friends as they watched the fight. He's really going for the head, huh? Felix observed, Jessica quick to chime in. Not much of a choice. The man's body is too strong, even for an archetype. It was certainly tough when I fought him 2 months ago, but I don't think this is the same as then. Any idea what this is, Coach? Felix looked up at Goldbug, the man pondering a moment before an idea came to mind. Why don't we ask our buddy King here? The carefree coach gestured towards Jack and his coach, his head turning to the bee before Columna patted his shoulder, his gaze snapping back to the field. Know something? Jack focused intently on Trabagia before speaking up. Well, it's likely that man and I share an element, though I must admit he has a far better natural command of it than I. Huh? What makes you say that? I still need motions to harden my attacks. It would seem he can simply flex and harden his body. Trabagia grinned wickedly, having caught his second wind as he began to circle around his foe, evil eyes bearing down on Jupardet as he stood there silently. Then Ricky began to bounce. He began jumping up and down, feet barely on the ground for more than a moment as he shifted from one foot to the other, moving faster each time until finally he vanished. Remy's eyes darted around the field, catching streaks of color darting from side to side, getting closer with every passing second. Giving up on tracking Ricky, Jupardet let his eyelids fall, letting himself calm down and let whatever was about to happen. Seconds passed as Trabagia darted about, Remy's face still as the older fighter came closer and closer to the stubbled young man, the whistling wind becoming sharper by the moment, practically roaring past his ear until finally, BAM! Ricky's leg crashed into the back of Remy's head. rocking it forth as the crowd gasped in shock. His head, however, did not hit the floor. Ah! Ricardo cried out as his torso spun forward, legs sticking to Jupadet as he caught himself. The hell? I'm stuck! Call black. Trebagio's eyes shot to Remy's, a slight smile on the boy's face as he looked down at the older fighter. Ricardo could only scowl at his foe while he felt his leg begin to pulse, muscles in his stuck limb tensing and relaxing, rhythm increasingly rapid, the intensity of the sensation making Ricky wince in pain. Soon enough, the pulsing began to slow down, coming to a crawl as the result of the bet made itself known. Ricky's leg fell away from Remy's head, getting caught on his shoulder as the control resumed. It's like you called it wrong, you bastard kid! Ricky laughed gleefully as he attempted to pull his leg from his foe, planning to hammer him with kicks until his bones crunched beneath his feet. He soon found his own knee hammering into his own face. With a roar of pain, the muscle found himself rolling backwards, heavy inertia overextending his leg over his head, tendons snapping as he crumbled to the side. Sorry, I got some practice waterbending in class, but people are a whole other beast. So please forgive me if I'm a little slow with emotions. The field was completely awash in cheers, the referee moving towards the trembling Ricardo as he clutched his leg, the count beginning. Shit, I'm losing. I came here to rip apart that fucking little shit brat that stole my spot and I'm fucking losing! Trebagio looked up at Jupadet, eyes burning with hate as the boy took his stance once more, ready for whatever else he had. Ricardo slowly stood up to his feet, hissing as he put weight upon his overextended leg, cutting off the count as he raised his fist around his face. Alrighty, fucking brat. You wanna gamble? Double or nothing, then! With a blood-curdling roar, the psychotic warrior unleashed a rapid series of attacks on the gambler, knuckles crunching against his body until one caught on his face, bruises and scrapes dotting it. God, black! Once a bet had been made, Trebagio stared at Jupadet dead in his eyes, as his fist began to pulse once more, trembling as the intensity increased. When the pulsing stopped, Remy immediately touched his fingers to Ricardo's wrist and slid them down his arm, sending his fist flying back into his face. His opponent reeling back, Jupadet moved to do the same over his other hand, impact sending him spinning back. The man laughed. Again! Come on! With a maddening fervor that caught him off guard, Trebagio dashed towards Remy. A single snappy punch sent the boy skidding across the ground. Jupadet quickly scrambled to his feet, taking a sharp breath and a loose stance in the little time he had before another onslaught of strikes hammered at him before getting caught. Call it! Call back! Felix and Jesse watched as yet another bet was set between the two fighters. I don't get it. Why is he taking all those hits? He doesn't really have a choice, kid. You see how this guy's moving? Too fast to maneuver against. He's not going to give your friend a chance to recover or grab him up again. I think you know best that this guy isn't one to let his opponents run. Another terrifying cry of pain snapped the demon's attention back to the field, Trebagio's fist having snapped into his chest, tears in his hand, revealing black blood. Again! Once more, Remy's body was heavily assaulted, something cracking and crunching with every blow until one caught on his face. Call! Call! Black! The two fighters locked eyes once more as the roulette pulsed, a manic smile on Trebagio's face. The fighters on the benches looked down in silence, Remy's friends silently hoping and praying for his luck to hold. Kusoa herself gripped her arms tightly, watching with bated breath as the roulette came to a halt. In an instant, a tidal wave of blows rained down upon Remy. Die! A malevolent, fervorous roar echoed through the arena as the psychotic fighter savaged his enemy. a seemingly never-ending barrage that ended with the young man's body skipping across the field. Remy! Felix cried out for his friend, the dust settling to reveal his limp body, bleeding, bruised, and tearing. Shit! Hang on! The young man cried out, preparing to jump the fence along with Jessica. Don't move! The two young fighters halted, taken aback by Kusona's orders. This is his fight. He isn't backing down. Urugo pointed to the field, Remy's body trembling in pain as he stirred, slowly, steadily rising, much to the shock of everyone. His muscles spasmed as he moved. His breathing hitched and strained as his chest heaved heavily. His movements were painfully slow, his arms like lead as he limply brought his hands in front of himself. Most striking of all was a small grin adorning his face. It's not over, Urugo declared softly. Felix looked in horror, mouth agape, a moment before gritting in anger. Are you serious? You have to be kidding. He can't take any more damage. He's gonna get hit with another set of punches. Maybe worse. You know that. I do. Then you'll watch. Silver-haired young man couldn't believe what he was hearing. His friend was on the verge of death, and the woman in charge of his training was asking him to just stand by and watch. He'll die, even if he survives the initial onslaught. If he chooses wrong! A pure horror flashed across Felix's face as it turned back to the field. Trabagia had taken a 4-point stance, a self-satisfied smirk on his face as his muscles tensed and grew, killing intent shining in his eyes. Are you serious? He'll seriously kill. Before Felix could say anything more, Kusoa reached across him and grabbed Jessica, the girl having attempted to rush to Remy's aid upon seeing Ricardo. Let's go, the young woman demanded. Don't stand in the way. He'll die! Kusoa grit her teeth and tightened her grip. Seeing Felix attempt his own rescue from the corner of his eye, with a flick of the wrist, the grass beneath the demon forced him back and tripped him onto his stomach. Urugo wasting no time placing Jessica down with him as she held the two in place. No, please! He needs help! You have to help him! I spent the last 2 months helping him. I've seen him cut up and damn near anemic. Stabbed and slashed to hell. He'll pull through, I know it! Kenzone. Coach, please. You have to help. Remy's gonna die. Please! The beast stood by stoically, a deep breath taken in through his nostrils while Kenzone attempted to remove Kusoa from the two young fighters. The two continued to struggle and plead for their friend, the psychopath he was facing, revealing in their desperate voices a moment longer before he leapt out with a terrifying war cry. Remy! The two young fighters cried out desperately. I'll do it. I'll beat this bastard back. I know it. I know it. No. So don't... Damn it! Uruko wanted desperately to believe in her student's strength, desperately wanting to keep him alive. But the only thing she felt she could was shut her eyes. Bam! All was silent for a moment that stretched on for an eternity. Uruko trembled. The two fighters pinned beneath her suddenly stopping their squirming as fear shook their hearts. I have to see. With painful reluctance, Kusunoa opened her eyes back up, mouth agape at the sight before her. Trabagia crumpled in pain on the ground, and Remy still in his stance, with Goldbug between the two of them. Ricky spasmed, golden arcs peeling from his body as he writhed in pain. This fight's over. If you have a problem with that, I'd be more than happy to step in. Goldbug's voice was low and impatient, ripe with menace as his eyes burned into Trabagia's. Goldbug? Remy asked weakly. Sorry to interrupt your fight. My student was bawling his eyes out, begging me to save the day. He'd have done it himself, but, well, you know how Kusunoa is. Remy stood silent for a moment, adrenaline dying down and exhaustion taking its place before he let out a soft chuckle. I see. With a weak smile on his face, Remy collapsed, Goldbug catching him before he hit the ground. I gotcha. Don't worry. Come on. Friends are waiting for you. With Goldbug's interference and Remy's collapse, Treboggia is declared the winner, advancing him to the semi-finals. With the 9th match over, the medical team took Remy in their care, his friends following suit while their coaches observed the 10th fight. You didn't want to go out with our pupils, Haruko? Gonzo asked gently. Kusanora silently watched the battle between Quinn and Carlton. It's a coach's job to gather data on their students' opponents. It's important that I relay what information I can gather. I want him to be prepared if and when he faces off anyone in the new generation again. But Goldbug gripped Cedric's shoulder and shook his head, turning their attention back to the field. Hey, Haruko spoke tentatively. Thank you for it. If anything, I should be apologizing. He was probably going to have some big comeback that'd drive the crowd wild, but what can I say? Just, couldn't say no to that moody kid of mine. That kid of yours. I hope he incinerates that bastard. He'll be more than up for the task. As the veteran archetypes watched the battle, their students took comfort in each other, easing their worry and woe in banter and jest. But as the demon continued to look over his friend's injured and torn body, an intense feeling built in his heart, a terrible hatred shining through his eyes.